Sí.
Okay.
Lo están viendo
Okay.
todo.
Sorry. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome back to Light to the Nations. It's a blessing, like every Shabbat, every week, to be with you, to share the word of YaHuWaH, to study together, to grow together by studying the word of YaHuWaH. You know, we have been sharing with you in the past is that you are our family. Actually, the gathering we're having, though sometimes we met our family time to time, and the gatherings we're having in Shabbat is with you all. And that's why it's so beautiful for us to have the opportunity to be here. Though we don't see your faces, we can see you interacting in the chat and to feel your love and the love you have for our. This is something that is filling our heart to have the opportunity to do this. So that's why we always enjoy Shabbat, and that's why it's always beautiful to be here. Anything you want to share?
No.
No?
No, I think that's the summary, perfect summary.
So those of you in the north of the world are enduring the hot weather. We are enduring cold weather, and we are just with our cup of tea,
Yes.
just to make sure that we are warm enough. But the good thing is that every time that we are doing these portions, Shabbat after Shabbat, the warmth of the presence of YaHuWaH with us is the one that is hitting us. And this is beautiful because every time that we're going from this small space we have here, the studio, outside of this place is very cold.
Very cold. So we realize about the temperature difference.
So last week was basically was a marathon.
Yeah.
We were here for 3.5 hours, almost. And but it was a good moment. I think it wasn't necessary to spend all the time. I think what Abba brought to our hearts is something really important to talk in these times. And it could be that maybe today we're going to have a new marathon. So I'm just telling you in advance to be prepared, because there are a few things that we want to share with you now at the beginning before going to the portion. And I think it's important because I have been sharing with many of you is that we are going through difficulties. We are living in the end times. There's no doubt. It's just a matter to see what's going on in the world. Everything that's happening is so, it's mind-blowing sometimes. That is going so fast. And Allah is revealing things in these times. It's revealing things, and we need to be sure that we are taking notes on what Allah is giving us. What are the signs that He's revealing? What are the dreams He's giving us? Actually, Lillian had I would say an impressive, a prophetic dream this week, and we will go to the point later. And just recently, a few hours ago, when it was before dawn, I had a dream, very short one, but it was a very representative. And I usually don't dream. The other day you were asking me, what was your dream? I said, I don't remember. I have not remembered my dreams for weeks. And then today, suddenly, I was remembering the dream. So we need to be so attentive, because I like sending dreams. Even my dad had a fantastic, so beautiful dream last week. That is also so prophetic. We need to be so attentive with our eyes open, ears open to what Allah is showing us. There are so many news currently about potential things that will come by the end of this year. Potential things that will come to the world next year. It's just for you to look at it and you will know what I'm talking about. So we don't need to be in fear, and we're going to talk about this, I think, as part of this portion. But we need to be attentive, and we need to be listening to the Ruach of Elohim, of what He is trying to guide us in these times. One of the points that it's been in my heart for weeks already, and we have been talking about this here at home. We have been also sharing with the brothers and sisters. We have the opportunity to meet in our last trip to the States. It's Shabbat Shalom, Colin. I just saw your comment here. And Shabbat Shalom to everyone.
To everyone,
yes.
Yeah. To all the moderators.
And everyone.
Every one of you are family.
I see 27 of you connected. It's a blessing to have all of you here. I know that not everybody's participating actively in the chat. So don't worry if you don't want to participate. That's your decision. The important thing is that you are here with us, and this is important because we are family. We are growing together, learning from the path of YaHuWaH, and this is what I said is totally connected to what I was my train of thought before. Is that what we were sharing during the trip, and we have been talking for weeks already, is that we will see division. We'll see division happening. Not in the world. In the world is already divided, and it's gonna become worse. We'll see divisions happening among believers, among the remnant. And this is something that was in my heart even before the trip we did. And this is something, as I said, we have been talking about. And is totally somehow backed up from the word. It's just to take a look in our Mashiach, in our King. He endured until the end, but throughout his lifetime, there was division even among his own family, bloodline family. We were talking about a few weeks ago, I think. It was division about from his own tribe of Yehuda, that they were not believing in him. And later on, there was division among the disciples. If you remembered, he was kept alone when he was taken by the Romans. All the disciples ran away, and he was just alone. So this is a picture of division. And, the closer he was getting to the point of his own redemption, resurrection, the more difficult it became to him. Because he was suffering before, he was suffering even more at the end. And he suffered death. So the pattern is exactly what's going to happen at the end times, and we see it, and it's very sad to see it. And I'm bringing this to discuss and to share with you because we can see division in the world, and this is heartbreaking. But when we see division among believers, it's even more difficult to bear, and we need to be prepared for that. And let me bring some scriptures just to share in context what I'm talking about. And we're gonna go to Matthew 24. So Yahushua himself, he was talking about this, and he said, after everything that was happening in the nations in the last days, saying about the earthquakes, the scarcity of foods, and so on, about these are the beginnings of the birth pains. It says, then they shall deliver you up to affliction and kill you, and you shall be hated by all nations for my name's sake. So it's not only division, it's also persecution. And we see this increasing dramatically in these days. I will show you part of a video that we were watching with Lillian yesterday or the day before. That is... it's quite compelling. We can judge about the way that these two ladies that you will see in the video were They live it in the message of the good news. We can judge and debate about the method they were using. But what we cannot deny is that by bringing the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, is bringing division and is bringing persecution. And this is an evidence that we're living in the last days and that we need to strengthen our heart, our emunah, in the same way that Yahushua was showing us in order to endure till the end. If we don't strengthen ourselves in Him, it's going to be difficult and almost impossible to endure until the end. So he continues saying the following, and then many shall stumble, and they shall deliver up one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise up, and lead many astray. And because of the increasing lawlessness, the love of many shall become cold. But he who shall endure to the end shall be saved. So what Yahushua is talking about here on the last days is talking about the vision. It's talking about the vision on the remnant. It's talking about the appearance of false prophets, the appearance of wolves, the appearance of people that is their only intention is to lead people astray from the true way that is Yahushua HaMashiach. Because he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And he continues saying here, even more, for false messiahs and false prophets shall arise, and they shall show great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the chosen ones. The chosen one can be led astray. The chosen one can be divided. And we see, and this is so sad, in these days we see division happening among brothers and sisters. You need to pray. Is the time to pray for the remnant. Is the time to fast for the generation, this generation of Israel, the generation that you and us belong to, because we are part of the generation of Israel in these last days. And we need to pray for one another in order to have the strength. Something that we have been sharing, I have been sharing from the very beginning, and also you have been sharing with me, is that we cannot put our eyes on men or women. We need to put our eyes always in the one true teacher, in the one true king, in the one true leader, that is Yahushua HaMashiach. If we put our eyes in a man or a woman, we are going to fail miserably. We are going to fail. The one that is leading the flock is Yahushua, the true and good shepherd. If he's assigning and appointing people in order to support brothers that maybe are instruments and moving forward, maybe being used by Allah for the profit of the assembly, is good. And this is the way that we look ourselves. We are not a leader, we're not a prophet, we're not a teacher, we're just brothers and sisters. We are all equal. Even Mashiach himself, and this is so beautiful, Mashiach himself call us, and this is written in the word, call us brothers and sisters. And he himself being the big brother. And this is so connected to the word, and we were talking about this last week or the previous one, is that the king, the Melech, needs to be among the brothers. Yahushua is our brother, is our big brother. And he called himself our brother. So we, men or women, cannot call ourselves rabbis, leaders, teachers. No, we are all the same to the eyes of YaHuWaH Elohim. That doesn't mean if YaHuWaH is using you for a purpose on the kingdom in order to serve him and the assembly in some way, that you should not do it. To the opposite. You need to be obedient and you have to do it. But what it means is that we always need to keep our eyes in Him, in Yahushua HaMashiach, because He's going to be the only one. He's the only one that is not going to fail. So, having said that, we have been praying with Lillian, and about what I'm going to say now. We have been fasting and praying, and I think we don't want to give space to the enemy to produce damage and to attack. And we know that the enemy is like a lion that is going around us looking for space to attack. And we need to be so careful, always praying to YaHuWaH to protect us. And, we have felt in our heart that we need to share what we're going to say. Is that we are not this small family, we are here, and you are our assembly, our family, our mishpacha. It's not exempt of these type of situations. And sadly, we have been going through some situations in the last few weeks that had caused a kind of division. And I'm going to refer openly about the 2 points that caused this situation, okay? Because I prefer you to hear this from my mouth, from our mouth, just in order to close the door to the enemy to do anything, okay? So the first point of a difference that caused this situation, it was about the manifestation of the Ruach of Elohim, particularly about what it means to speak in tongues. I truly believe that speaking in tongues is part of the manifestation of the Ruach of Elohim. And by speaking in tongues, I'm not talking about speaking tongues of men only. It's speaking in tongues of messengers. And I'm telling you, and I'm sharing this with you, and I have been sharing my experience, not everything, but part of my experience in the past, spiritual experiences, that is not something that I have seen or heard. It's something that I have experienced in my own life. And I know that Allah is true and faithful to His word when He's saying that if we ask Allah for His Ruach, or we ask Allah for a piece of bread, that He's not going to give us a serpent. And if we ask Allah for the Ruach of Elohim, He's going to give us the Ruach of Elohim. So, unfortunately, this point goes a kind of different interpretations and different point of views that we were not able to reconcile with some people. And we are praying to Allah. And actually, I was sharing a study back in the States about the Ruach of Elohim. And when I was there, I was mentioning, because everybody was asking me about the notes and so on, I was mentioning that I was not being moved and led to share this online until this morning. Because I had the dream that I want to tell you in a moment. And I think I'm going to share because the time is short. The time is really short. And we need to learn how to operate in the Ruach of Elohim in the same way that we have been learning how to operate in Torah, how to learn and grow in Torah. So, everything we do, everything we say, we need to do it with compassion and with love. Try not to be a stumbling block to our brothers and sisters. But at the same time, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility with Him to speak truth and to speak His word. And it's up to us to search and seek His face. Because, I'm not going to be able to save you. You are not going to be able to save me. I'm going to be able to save myself. And you are going to be able to save yourself by following the step of Yahushua and seeking Him personally. So this was the first point of somehow difference. And the second point is a more personal one between Lillian and myself. And I'm going to say this to you, though I'm a very reserved man, I don't like to speak about my personal things. Again, the whole purpose and objective to share this with you is just to close the door to the enemy to attack, and know that he's going to look for other options to bring attacks to the mishpacha and to this generation. But we need to wait on him always. But everything we can do in our hands in order to block the enemy, we have to do it. So the situation that caused somehow kind of differences and the division is about our current relationship as a marriage with Lillian and myself. I think some of you, maybe if you're new here with us, don't know this information, so this is going to be new for you. I had a previous marriage, my first marriage, that was ended. And I terminated this marriage by the end of 2017, okay? And before continuing, something that it's important for you to know in the way that we see things. What is written here in these amazing books that we study week after week, we believe that the Torah of YaHuWaH, the law of YaHuWaH, the justice, the righteousness of the kingdom of YaHuWaH is above any law of man, is above any tradition of man. In order to be right before the eyes of YaHuWaH, we need to follow his righteousness. If we're following his righteousness, we are in the path of him. And in the same way that we have been talking in the last few weeks, we need to examine ourselves daily in order to find if we still have some areas that are not good. We need to look at it with compassion, and we need to look at it seeking the guidance of Allah in order to clean ourselves, in order to repent ourselves, and to continue in the right path. But this is something that we need to do individually, each one of us. And if somebody else is looking into a brother and sister and seeing something that is not wrong with compassion, we need to go there and guide them, not judging and accusing. It's guide them in order to bring repentance. So, I terminated my marriage on 2017, and you can understand that this was not an easy situation. And I'm not going to go to details because of respect of myself and the people involved. But I follow the steps on the righteousness and the right rulings of the word of YaHuWaH in order to terminate my marriage, and with the right reasons to terminate it. And we were talking about that last week. Lillian and I, we committed ourselves in a marriage according to the word of YaHuWaH. We did it with 2 witnesses. When I terminated my marriage, even though it was difficult to do it, I also did it with 2 witnesses. Yet, there is something that is still pending, and this was the cost of different interpretations. That according to the laws of my country here in Chile, according to the law of man, the divorce is still not yet completed. I don't know when it's going to happen, and I'm just waiting on YaHuWaH to tell me when to do it. If I have to receive a certificate from my government, it's not going to say that I'm divorced. But we have been following each one of the steps of the righteousness of the word of YaHuWaH in order to be good before his eyes. And I'm going to tell you why I have not done it. It's out of compassion. And I'm going to tell you the details because this is also, I need to be respectful of myself and the people involved. And we need to do everything we do with compassion. And we need to wait for the proper time of YaHuWaH in order to fulfill things and to complete things. When it's going to be completed, depending situation, I don't know. I'm just waiting on YaHuWaH. When he's saying that we need to do it. And actually, I will invite you, each one of you, to do a study about the laws of marriage according to the laws of men. Just to understand what are the origins of all of this, about marital status, about the marriage, according to the law of men, and you will find interesting information. So, again, why I'm sharing this with you, I don't want to be a cause of a stumbling block. We don't want to be a cause of a stumbling block with you. And I'm being very open with all of you here. So, in order to close the door to the enemy, and in order to have transparency, that our hearts are for YaHuWaH. Our hearts is to be right before his eyes. And if he's bringing peace because we have been following his word and his righteousness, that's the most important thing. Even not doing it with the laws of men. You can have different opinion and we are going to respect that. This is the way that we need to grow, but we need to do it with compassion and love. You know, few things that are missing in this generation. And you know, YaHuWaH is giving us evidence, I think, to all of us, all over the place, is that there is such a lack of leadership. And leadership, I don't mean by having leaders, is the attitude of leadership. And we're going to talk about this in the portion as well. And also compassion. And let me show you some passage that I found here that is really important, that is written in the book of Jude. It says the following: "But you, beloved ones, remember the words spoken before by the missionaries of our Master YaHuWaH Messiah, because they told you that there would be mockers in the last time, who will walk according to their own wicked lusts. These are the ones who cause divisions, not having the Spirit. But you, beloved ones, building yourselves up on the most set apart belief, praying in the set apart Spirit, keep yourself in love of Elohim, looking for the compassion of our Master YaHuWaH Messiah unto everlasting, and show compassion towards some who are doubting, but others save with fear, snatching them out of the fire, hating even the garment defiled by the flesh." So, show compassion. When we see division, and we will see, as I said, division among brothers and sisters, what we need to do is to show compassion. What YaHuWaH did with sinners, he showed compassion. He was not coming to judge. He said, "I'm coming to save the world." Now, his second coming, he's coming to judge. But in his first coming, he came with compassion. He said, the ones that are healed, they are not in need of a physician. The ones that are sick, they are in need of a physician. And he was taking time with sinners in order to bring light in darkness, with compassion, but also with truth and with righteousness. So what we need to do, we need to pray. We need to do whatever is in our hands when we see a brother that is down on the ground, to rise him up. And I will show you a beautiful video that we saw in the past this year that somehow represent exactly what I'm saying. So we need to find this true leadership that is coming from YaHuWaH within us, and the true compassion in order to do and live according to what Allah is guiding us and teaching us to be, a mirror of YaHuWaH in this world. So persecution is rising. And let me show you something, and we need to be prepared in our hearts. We see persecution happening all over the place. So let me go back to the other screen and we'll show you a video, okay? And there are children in this video, so I'm not going to be able to play the video completely. And just I'm gonna show you a few parts, and I'm gonna share the link of the video in the chat, so you are gonna be able to see it. These two ladies that are preaching in the old city of Jerusalem. Lillian and I have been in this place, you know. It's a beautiful and calm place. When you're going to the old city in Jerusalem, in some places of the old city is a chaos. But when you go to the Jewish quarter, it's very calm, it's peaceful, and so on. And the place that they are preaching is a plaza where behind them is a replica of the menorah, and behind the menorah there is a huge, massive synagogue, and there are people living around that place. There are the houses, people living actually there. So let me put the video, and I will show you just pieces of it. So yeah, I did it in purpose with no sound. Sorry, you know, I didn't want to put the sound. It was in purpose. I'm sorry I didn't mention it before. Okay, but you saw the images, and let me share just the link here in the chat. So there you have the link in case you want to look at it completely. Are we going to judge the people that were reacting like that? Or are we going to see all this with compassion? We need to see this with compassion. And something that we have been talking lately is that we need to start looking at things not with these physical eyes. We need to start looking at things with our spiritual eyes, understanding that we are in a very fierce spiritual battle. And this battle has been increasing exponentially in the last years, especially this year. And it's going to continue growing like this. And we need to be prepared for that. You know, everything that I show you in those images with those children, with those adults. We can be thinking, no, because they don't believe in Mashiach, because they are they have this type of system of beliefs, we are gonna miss the point. What's going on? It's a spiritual battle, and we need to call it as it is. Spiritual battles, spiritual evil spirits that are fighting very fiercely in these times. And we need to ask ourselves what we are doing in order to fight back. What are we doing in order to prepare ourselves for that battle? We don't need to be like Israel in the first generation, that we are going to make our own decision. Okay, I'm ready, I'm going to battle, I'm going to defeat everyone, every evil spirit. It doesn't work like that. It's YaHuWaH, the one that needs to guide us to the battle when He is ready and we are ready. He's the one that He's going to send us to the battlefield in order to win the fight. But what we are doing now, in order to prepare ourselves for that moment, because that moment is coming, and it's coming very soon, we need to prepare ourselves by looking into Torah, learning the truth, but also to learn how to operate in the Ruach of Elohim. That's why we need to look at things with the spiritual eyes and also with compassion for people, in the same way that Yahushua was looking at people with compassion. He was fighting with the wolves. He was fighting and debating with the religious people of his time, because they were leading the people astray of the true path. But he was bringing the truth and the light to the world with compassion. We need to do exactly the same. The hearts are broken. Many people, especially of believers. What we're going to do about it? Yahushua said that He was coming in order to bind the brokenhearted. Shouldn't we do the same? We have to do the same. And we can do that just with compassion and love, guiding. It's just to look into our own experiences, how we have been walking this way. YaHuWaH has been so compassionate. He is showing us the pattern. We were completely in sin, all of us. And He was compassionate, merciful with us. And He opened our eyes to the true way of His word. And He was teaching little by little this piece of the puzzle and this truth in order for us to walk in it. We did it. And He was compassionate and patient in order to, not to see all the other mess we have in the other areas of our lives, because He was guiding us as a little child in order to learn. So He was teaching us with love and compassion in order to grow and learn more, and we will continue doing the same. Believe me, and don't believe me only, believe the word of YaHuWaH, because you can search this matter out by yourself. He's going to do exactly the same with the Ruach of Elohim. He's going to teach us to operate in the Ruach little by little. But in order to be prepared for the battle, for the moment of the battle, we need to start doing it now. In the same way that we grow in Torah, and we will continue growing in Torah, we need to begin growing in the operation of the Ruach of Elohim, of the Ruach HaKodesh in our lives. If we wait, it's going to be too late. If we wait, we are not doing what we have to do. If we wait, we are not fulfilling the service that we need to give to YaHuWaH Elohim and His kingdom. Because we are not fighting the battle, and we are not going to be ready to fight the battle with the two-edged sword that is from the kingdom of YaHuWaH. And I'm going to talk about that, hopefully soon, about the two-edged sword. But the first thing we need to do is to act with compassion. How do you think that Yahushua was healing the people? He was moved to compassion first in order to bring healing. And let me show you this video, because you are going to understand by seeing this video even better what I'm talking about.
Okay. Cool. Take it out. You okay? Nope. Hush, hush. Life. Nearly. That's right. She's up.
You know, this is such a beautiful picture of us. We are like sheep. Sometimes we are on the floor, on the ground. And it's exactly what YaHuWaH do for us, is to rescue us, is to watch over us until we are healed with compassion, with love. And you know, it's an even more beautiful picture because he's also even sending a helper in order for us to heal completely. And he's watching over us until we are completely healed, even though that sometimes we need to be alone in order to complete the healing and then to come back to the flock. We have to do the same. We need to act. We need to act in the same way. Having the same heart of YaHuWaH. If we see a brother or a sister down, we need to do the same of what YaHuWaH would do. That's what he's looking for each one of us, is to bring truth, is to bring righteousness, is to bring right ruling, together with love and compassion, because that's the kingdom of Elohim. Let's talk about the dreams.
Okay.
Go ahead, you can share yours, because you have been too quiet.
Yeah, I had a dream that we were in some other place. It was another country, maybe the United States, maybe in England, I don't know. But it was a place that it has a very, like, old construction, but very solid. Like, it was very, I don't know, admired by the people. I don't know how to explain that, but it was a quite famous building, maybe, or the kind of buildings that they have. And next to that place, and a lot of people was walking in that area. It was like a kind of a port, and it was like a big hotels and buildings, not too tall. It was maybe tops 4 floors, something like that. And at the right side, I could see, because it was like in the evening, it was before the sun was going down, and I could see that to the right side is what the sea, and the sea was kind of calm. The water was calm. It was just small waves, but suddenly it was the sky. It was bright, but at one moment it was coming a very huge dark cloud, and it was very thick and dark cloud. And I could only see this space between the sea and this cloud, that it was still light, and it was diminishing and diminishing. And at one point, from the thick cloud, it was coming and it was forming like what is the name?
Water spout.
A water spout, but a very big one.
On the sea, on the ocean.
On the sea, and it was starting, and everybody was looking that, and I knew, okay, this is something very dangerous. And I have never been in that situation, but it caused me that I need to look for a refuge. And I think that I was with you, and the kids were in some other place, because there was it was Angela, it was Cristobal. They were in different, like separated by groups of age. And we were looking for Cristobal, the younger one, and their cousins and everybody. And what it called my attention that while we were looking for them and we see the sky again, after this big water spout was formed, it begins to form another one and another one, and it was so multiple in all the sky, and it was so quickly that at once I looked and it was like more than 50, more than 100, and it was very quickly. And then we were like running because we wanted to find the kids, and they were like all the kids, they were like holding hands, and they were like, they knew that we have to go for them and find them. And then we were returning to the building, the place that we were staying, because it was like a hotel or something like that. And inside, instead of going to the room, because the room was in different floors, there were people inside, and they were like, I don't know if you saw the movie Titanic, but in this case it was working fine, because the people who was in charge of security, they were asking the people to go downstairs. It was a kind of refuge. It was kind of a safe place. And they were giving to all the people who were going there, I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was meal or food or something. They were given like a small box. And we were going there, and a lot of people from different countries were working there. And I just remember that now, before. Because there were people from different countries, different races, but everybody was looking refuge in that shelter. But still a lot of people was outside, and you were asking me, how did you find this place? How you managed to look for a place that had shelter? And I told you, I don't know, it's like always like, I don't know if I tell you that, but I just did. But in my head, I was thinking it's always YaHuWaH who led us to the right place. And that was the trip.
Yeah, I think for me, when you told me about this, is that it's a warning that we will see things happening,
and
problems very quickly, and the multiple things at the same time. I think we are already living and seeing these kind of things. But I do believe that we are running short of time, and we'll see very soon multiple things coming to the world, and we need to be prepared for that. You know, the dream I had this morning was very very short one. I saw people taking showers in a kind of a pool area. Obviously, it was a public place, so they were wearing their swimming suit, and they were looking to where to watch themselves to take a shower. They were not able to find the soap, but the whole thing is that they were looking to take showers. They wanted to clean themselves. That was the first thing that I remembered. And the second one is that I just remember one part, and I woke up because I began to sob. began to weep. And that's why I woke up. I saw myself talking to somebody. I think more people were there about the study I shared about the Ruach back in the States. And it seems that people were asking me to share the study, and I needed to go. And I said that there's no time. This is what I told them. There's no time. So I'm not going to share the study with you, but I'm going to pray for you so you can receive the Ruach. And I remember seeing people having a spiritual experience, and that's why it was so beautiful what I saw, that I started to weep. In the same way that this happened to me when I'm receiving the Ruach HaKodesh, is always coming with tears and weeping. And I woke up. I needed to go to the living room area here in our apartment. And I had a beautiful moment of prayer with Allah. So there's no time. For me, this was a sign that I need to share what I shared with some of you. And I'm going to see how I'm going to do it. But I'm going to share here in the channel. I think there's no time. We need to prepare our hearts. We need to prepare ourselves. We need to clean ourselves. We need to seek the Ruach of Elohim. We need to continue learning the truth of the word of YaHuWaH. I told you it was going to be a marathon, okay? We have spent an hour, but it was a necessary introduction. As we did last week, I think it's important. Keep your eyes open. Work with compassion and love. Prepare yourself. That's the message. Prepare yourself. The enemy and the fight, the spiritual fight is increasing. You need to learn the weapons that we have in the kingdom. And the first step in order to do it is to receive completely the Ruach of Elohim and to learn how to operate in the Ruach with our eyes in our Messiah, always asking Allah to teach us, to guide us, and He will do it. So let's do...
Asking Him with all our heart, our mind, our inner being, because it's the only way that we are going to having Him fulfilling us completely. And then it's not going to be a space for the enemy if He is with us.
So let's do a little bit of music, okay?
Okay.
Can you bring me the guitar? We're going to sing.
You're going to sing.
We are going to sing.
Yeah, I'm going to sing. Importantly, you're not going to hear me.
Be patient with me like every week. I was not going to sing because my throat is not in the best condition today. But we will try. Otra de las antiguas en español. No practiqué ninguna. Ok, déjame hacer una, Daniel. I will sing one Spanish of the old songs from church. So just because of you, Daniel, okay? So let's do it for the way.
Preguntan chords. Oops.
This is going to be with the... So let me know if you can hear, please. Just let me know, put the comments in the chat if you can hear my voice and also if you can hear the guitar, okay? Sounds good? Okay. Okay, so I think I need to sing more than I was expecting to sing because I was preparing 2 songs and a surprise. But we're going to include also one song for our dear brother Daniel in Peru, okay? So this is going to be a song in Spanish. It's about purification, you know, asking Allah to teach us His ways and to purify our lives. And this is for the G major, okay? I don't know how it's going to sound because, as I said, my throat is not in the best condition, okay? Gonna be for A major, okay? A major. Enséñame tu camino, ya
Dame un corazón entregado a ti para honrarte, oh Yah. Purifícame, límpiame, oh Yah, y líbrame de lo que impida el fluir. Purifícame, límpiame, oh Yah, y líbrame de lo que impida el fluir de tu amor. Let's do it again. Enséñame tu camino, oh Yah, y andaré en tu luz. Dame un corazón entregado a ti para honrarte, oh YaHuWaH. Purifícame, límpiame, oh Yah, y líbrame de lo que impida el fluir. Purifícame, límpiame, oh Yah, y líbrame de lo que impida el fluir de tu amor. De tu You need to sing with me on this one. YaHuWaH te bendiga y te guarde. Not only you, you too. YaHuWaH haga resplandecer su rostro en ti y tenga de ti compasión. YaHuWaH alce su rostro sobre ti y te dé paz, te dé paz y te dé paz. Te dé paz. Okay. Last one. It's not gonna be that one. You know, we were singing this song. It's from Joshua Aaron. Also in our trip to the States, and I think it's a beautiful it's a beautiful song, and it's in Hebrew. You know, this one is the song, is the prayer from the YaHuWaH. It's our Father. I'm gonna try to do my best to play it in the right way. It's not an easy song. It's for the D minor, and you know, it's the first time that we heard this song. You told me, and this sounded like a prayer. We didn't know that it was our Father, and I'm gonna try to sing it. Okay, if you know it, try to sing it with me. Avinu Shabbat Shalom Yitkadesh Shimcha Tavo Malchutcha Yaser Retzoncha כבשמיים כן בארץ את לחם חוקנו תן לנו היום וסלח לנו על חטאינו כפי שסולחים גם אנחנו לחוטאים לנו אבינו שבשמיים יתקדש שמך תבוא מלכותך יעשה רצונך כבשמיים כן בארץ את לחם חוקנו תן לנו היום וסלח לנו על חטאינו כפי שסולחים גם אנחנו לחוטאים לנו ואל תביאנו לידי ניסיון כי אם חלצנו מחרב כי לך הממלכה בך גבורה בך תפארת לעולמי עולמים אמן כי לך הממלכה בך גבורה בך תפארת Such a beautiful melody, and just knowing that these are the words of YaHuWaH teaching us how to pray. This is a beautiful one, and I'm gonna do it. You're gonna be part of the process of putting a song together. I was sharing with you a melody a few weeks ago, and I was taking a look in the scriptures, and I took some scriptures, some tehillim, some tehillah, in order to begin the song that Tavo put in my heart. So it's just the first part. I'm just working on the rest. So I'm going to share the first part with you, okay? YaHuWaH, you have been our refuge in all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you have brought forth the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting. You are El, you are my The lyrics are the verse 1 of Psalms 90. I think it's Psalms 90 verse 1, maybe 2, I don't remember. So there's still more to come. It's a slow process, but this is just to praise Him. So, just to finish the worships part, let me share this song with you. Okay? Here we go.
I will invite you to close your eyes and let's pray together. YaHuWaH Elohim Sebaot, we want to give thanks to you in this moment because your compassion, your love, because you, through the hand of Yahushua HaMashiach, who is your right hand, are the one bringing healing to the hearts, are the one bringing strength, are the one showing us the way we have to walk. All of us, we fail. Every generation of your people has failed and has departed from your ways and your covenant. We all have sinned before you, every single generation. And we ask for forgiveness, not only for this last generation of your people, this remnant, for every generation of your people, Israel. We ask that you can forgive us and you can return our hearts to you. And we're so grateful because even though that sometimes we're so stiff-necked, even though that sometimes and most of the time we're disobedient, you have made a way, Baba, and you have brought such a redemption in the hands of Yahushua HaMashiach, our King. We're just humble, before such a demonstration of love and compassion, because you gave your own Son to die for us and to give us the opportunity to come back to you through him, because he is the Lord, and to be part of your covenant once again, to receive cleansing through his blood and through the Ruach that he himself is bringing as a gift from you to us. Teach us in these times, because it's when we need you the most. And remember us. Remember the covenant you have with Abraham, with Isaac, with Jacob. The covenant that you have established forever through your Son Yahushua. And remember your people. Remember our sufferings. And rise up, O YaHuWaH, and act. Because you are in control of everything. And turn your face toward your people. Because we need you, YaHuWaH Sebaot. We need your power. We need your truth. We need your Ruach HaKodesh in us. YaHuWaH, heal the brokenhearted. Tend your sheep, because your sheep needs you. We need you, Prepare us and prepare our hearts for what's coming, and give us of your Ruach so we can endure till the end. And give us your heart, in order to be compassionate and lovely as you are with us. In order to help those that are to fall down. In order to bring a healing hand in those that are sick. in order to bring the good news of your kingdom and your righteousness on those that are in prison, to rescue those that are lost. Touch this generation and guide us always, O YaHuWaH Elohim. I pray for this Mishpacha. We're so grateful, because of the blessing you have gave us to be in contact, that we know, and to know each other, at least this virtually, because we can feel the heart and the love each one of us have for you. Heal the sick, restore those that are going through tribulations and trials. Give them endurance and repentance if it's needed. And guide us always in your truth and in your righteousness. Guide us in this study, YaHuWaH, that your presence, your cloud, that cloud with your presence that is filling everything, can fill this temple that is our body, can fill this place, can fill each one of us, so you can guide us in your truth and with your wisdom. YaHuWaH, my Elohim, we love you and we praise your name, and we wait with you continually, because we trust you and our hope is in you. Thank you. Receive this prayer and receive our hearts and our voices as our offering to you, YaHuWaH Elohim, because we do it with love and we do it in the mighty name of your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. Okay, let's do a Parsha in 60 seconds.
Shalom and welcome to Parsha in 60 seconds. Today's portion is from Deuteronomy 26:1, 29:8. It is called Tavo, which means when you enter. Once the Israelites had entered the land, they were to give first fruits and recite their history from Abraham to present day and thank God for the land. Moses instructed that after giving the tithe to the Levites and poor, they were to declare a big memorized speech. Moses encouraged them to observe these laws faithfully. God was their God and Israel was God's people. As soon as they crossed the Jordan River, they set up large stones on Mount Ebal, inscribed on them words from the Torah, and built an altar to worship. Blessings were spoken on Mount Gerizim and curses on Mount Ebal. Those cursed included anyone who made a sculpted image, insulted father or mother, moved a fellow countryman's landmark, misdirected a blind person, subverted the rights of the stranger, the fatherless, or the widow, lay with his father's wife, lay with a beast, lay with his sister, lay with his mother-in-law, struck down his fellow countryman in secret, accepted a bribe in a murder case, or otherwise would not observe the commandments. And everyone said, Amen! If the people obeyed God's laws, they would prosper in everything. If they failed to obey, they would be cursed, destroyed, and exiled. Moses then reminded the people of everything they had been through and how God was there the entire time. And that is Tavo in 60 seconds.
Tavo. So, we have not even talked about the portion.
No.
Yet.
Yeah.
In 1.5 hours. But I think it was necessary. And actually, I just saw your comment, Regina. And a thought came to my heart while taking a shower today. And I remember a story that we were taught at school here in our country, in Chile, about the conquest of this land by the Spaniards. And like in most probably in each one of your places, you have a lot of stories, similar stories like this one. There was a lot of battles and fights with the indigenous people of the land. And there was a guy called Galvarino from the indigenous people. And the story said that the Spaniards cut his hands, both of them. And the story goes saying that this Galvarino, instead of stopping and crying and going out of battle, what he did, he just put one spear, was attaching the spear and tied in the spear with ropes in his two arms, and he continued fighting. And I completely forgot I was going to share this with you before, and I forgot, and I just saw the comment from Regina. When I remember this, when I was taking the shower today, Abba told me is that that should be our attitude. What's coming ahead is not going to be easy, most probably. Even now, we can go through trials and tribulations. Are we going to stop because of the trials and tribulations? That somehow is a symbolism of cutting the two hands in the story I just told you. Or we are going to continue tying the two-edged sword in order to continue fighting the spiritual fight till the end. It's a picture of endurance on the service to YaHuWaH. It's the attitude that we need to have in order to continue until the end, exactly as Yahushua did. So yeah, are we ready to go through the fire? This is something we need to ask ourselves daily. And we need to be convinced of our answer within us. Okay, let's do it. Deuteronomy 26. So it says the following. And it shall be when you come into the land which YaHuWaH your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance, and you possess it and dwell in it, that you shall take some of the first of all the fruits of the soil which you bring from your land that YaHuWaH your Elohim is giving you, and you shall put it in a basket and go to the place where YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell there. And you shall come to the one who is priest in those days, and say to him, I shall declare today to YaHuWaH your Elohim that I have come to the land which YaHuWaH swore to our fathers to give us. And the priest shall take the basket from your hand and place it before the slaughter place of YaHuWaH your Elohim. And you shall answer and say before YaHuWaH your Elohim, my father was a perishing Aramean, and he went down to Mizraim and sojourned there with few men. And there he came a nation, great, mighty, and numerous. But the Mizrites did evil to us, and afflicted us, and imposed hard labor on us. Then we cried out to YaHuWaH Elohim of our fathers, and YaHuWaH heard our voice, and saw our affliction, and our toil, and our oppression. And YaHuWaH brought us out of Mizraim with a strong hand, and with an outstretched arm, with great fear, and with signs and wonders. And he brought us to this place, and has given us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And now see, I have brought the first fruits of the land, which you, O YaHuWaH, have given me. Then you shall place it before YaHuWaH your Elohim, and bow down before YaHuWaH your Elohim, and shall rejoice in all the good which YaHuWaH your Elohim has given to you, and your house, you and the Levite and the stranger who is among you. Okay, let's stop here for a moment, and maybe we can comment on this. You want to start first?
About the three phases, because it says in the verse 1, when you come into the land, you possess it and you dwell in it. So it's like three stages. It's a process. So when you dwell in a place, it's because you already made your house there. You're not going to move. It's where you are deciding to be, and you are going to interact with everything around you. So I found it very, very nice. So if we are ready to do all that process, not just arriving there, is to possess it, is to know that it's our land, that is the place that Abba gave us. And then to have all the energy, all the the willing to make our home there in His land. So,
That's a beautiful picture, you know, is the process we need to understand, and we are going through those different processes. When we are going to dwell in the land, is connected to Sukkot, and it's going to be during the day of YaHuWaH. You know, the day of YaHuWaH is not only the moment that He's coming to destroy the earth and to restore all things. It's talking about a day. A day is like 1,000 years, it is written. So it's talking about the millennial kingdom of YaHuWaH. And this is something beautiful that we were hearing yesterday. But, you know, I expanded a little bit in the understanding. Is that a day, and we have some teachings and insights about what is a day here in the channel, as you know, began during dawn. Okay, is related to sunlight. So part of dawn, part of morning, it's not completely in my current understanding. Part of the morning is part of the day. Then you have the day, the sunlight, then you have the sunset, and you have the evening. And the evening, part of the evening, because it's still light, is part of the day as well. When we talk about the day of YaHuWaH, it's going to be exactly the same. We're going to have a morning, a day, and an evening. And today what we're living is the morning. We're in the dawn. We are coming out of the night. And you know, when you look into nature, what's happening during dawn? Multiple things happening. Let me tell you want?
the birds, they're still and the sky is getting blue.
No, everything, everything that's
It's
happening
like
during the morning.
It's like waking it up. I don't know.
When is the coldest?
And it's at that time. It's the coldest moment.
When is the moment that you are the more sleepy, or you are the sleep is going
very
profound. If you are awake before, you are getting this feeling of getting sleep even stronger during morning. Actually, when you are driving, is exactly those are the most dangerous moment if you have not been sleeping before. When you're driving during the morning, especially during dawn, the probability for you to get sleep is higher. What else? Sometimes the wind. The wind is more stormy. You can hear the wind. Usually it's happening more than in the morning. It's happening in the evening.
More in the evening.
So what it means, today we're in dawn. We will see all these situations happening until the Son of Righteousness arise, and this is Yahushua HaMashiach that is coming. This is going to be the day of YaHuWaH, starting on dawn, and this is exactly what's we're going to be able to see. It's going to be a little bit somehow complicated, connecting with all of this, and what you said with birds, and I'm going to finish with this, is that also birds began to sing.
And usually it's one that is starting.
Yeah.
And it's really a very nice and hot and high volume. And then the others start to sing into and enjoying it.
When I was praying this morning after the dream that I was sharing with you, I began to hear the birds, because they began to sing almost at the same time. And the thought that I felt in my heart through the Ruach is that why the birds sing at the time? Because the Ruach make them sing. The Ruach is providing the music for the birds to sing to YaHuWaH in that moment. So, and what else is happening during, and this is written I think in the book of Proverbs of Kohelet, the beasts of the earth are hiding themselves during the morning.
Because they're going to sleep during the day.
They're going to sleep during the day. Not all of them, but the scripture is saying that the wild beasts are hiding themselves during the morning. And this is a beautiful representation that darkness will hide, will be kept, locked down at the moment the righteousness, the Son of Righteousness is coming. So what I'm saying, this is connected to, just coming back to the portion, is, we're in the process of possessing now. We are learning, but the moment of dwelling is coming, and is coming soon. And we need to be ready. And how we're going to be ready, connected to the first fruits. And this is the part that we need to understand. We have learned this for many years. It's connected to the harvest. We have the barley harvest, we have the wheat harvest, we have, the fruit of the trees harvest. And the trees are not bringing the fruits all at once. It's not bringing the fruit all at once. It's the grapes, it's the olives. Yeah, I have a blackout. The olives, and so on. So every time everything has a time. Everything has a pace. Everything has a rhythm. It's the rhythm of the creation of YaHuWaH, Elohim. And when we see this connected to the word, the spiritual way, is that we know that the 144,000 are being considered the first fruit. We know that Yahushua somehow is considered the first fruit as well. We know that Israel is considered a firstborn. So everything at a time. YaHuWaH knows the timing and the rhythm. And the beautiful picture is saying that we need to bring this fruit to the priest. Who is our priest? Is Yahushua. Who is going to be the servants that are going to bring the fruits to the priest? Or the messengers that are going to bring the fruits at the right time. You can read this in the book of Revelation chapter 14, talking at least about 3 harvests, bringing the fruits at a time. So sometimes we are so rushing to get all the people on the boat, but he knows. He knows when is the right time. And he will do it. He will bring the first fruit of each one of the fruits of the land that belongs to him, to the Kohen Gadol, Yahushua HaMashiach. We just need to be, with the attitude that we see here, saying, "Oh YaHuWaH, the land, the fruit of the land that YaHuWaH had given me." What Yahushua said, "They were yours. You have given them to me." We belong to YaHuWaH through Yahushua. We belong to Yahushua, and we belong to YaHuWaH through him. So, first fruit is an important picture. Redemption. Something else you have here?
Not, but when you were talking about that, I remember about this scripture when the plagues came into the land, when they were in Egypt, still in Mizraim, and I think that it was the hail that was coming into the land, and it says that only the plagues, what is the name of the plagues, was saved because it was still and it's not mature. So it's the same. That's why everything has, maybe some people are going to wake up maybe later, because if they were here at this moment, maybe all the rocks or the plagues or what is happening, maybe it's going to be a very serious damage for them, and they need to be kept for another time.
I do believe that he's going to keep some word for us.
Yeah.
It's not only to rebuild everything, it's just to go into the nations.
Yeah.
And to bring the good news. I want to bring the good news to the nations. Believe me. And I think it's going to be a beautiful moment during the kingdom, because he's going to remove any obstacle for us to do it. He's going to remove any obstacle from the hearts of the people that are going to remain. What's the purpose of Israel? And I think we are going to touch base a little bit in another part of the portion, is to be a light to the nations. And I'm not just trying to push this service we are doing. It's to be a light to the nations. It's to be the same purpose of Yahushua. It's to be a light to the world. And how to be a light to the world, how to be a light to the nations, is to bring the righteousness. So I want him to keep some word for me during the millennium. I want him to keep some word for me to go to the nations and to share with the people the path to share the word and the righteousness of the kingdom so the people can learn and the people can know themselves, YaHuWaH, Elohim. So I think, I hope that we are going to have the chance, and I feel inside me that we are going to do that. So when you have completed the verse 12, tithing, all the tithe of your increase in the third year, which is the year of tithing, and have given it to the Levite, to the stranger, to the fatherless, and to the widow, and they have eaten within your gates and have been satisfied. Then you shall say before YaHuWaH your Elohim, I have put away the set-apart portion from my house, and also have given it to the Levite, and to the stranger, and to the fatherless, and to the widow, according to all your command, which you have commanded me. I have not transgressed your commands, nor have I forgotten. I have not eaten any of it when in mourning, nor have I removed any of it for any unclean use, nor given any of it for the dead. I have obeyed the voice of YaHuWaH my Elohim. I have done according to all that you have commanded me. Look from your set-apart dwelling place from the heavens, from the Shamayim, and bless your people Israel and the land which you have given us, as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. So, this is the third tithing, and we're not gonna touch base on that. We have been talking in the past about this.
The different kind of tithes.
Yeah, there are three tithes according to Torah, and this third one is completely with the purpose of giving it away to the poor, to the widow, to the fatherless, to the stranger, to the Levite. It is written there. We just read this. But the beautiful picture here is that what he's saying, I have obeyed this obedience for the voice of YaHuWaH, understanding that some commandments, and the commandments, not some, all of the commandments are with the purpose of hearing the voice of YaHuWaH and being obedient to him at all times. My daughter Angela was asking me this week, what does it mean to be faithful in the little? And I think this is an answer for that. Is to be faithful to YaHuWaH in obedience to his voice at all times. When we don't have and when we have. When we're in problems and trials, and when we're happy. When we're in sorrow, when we have joy. At all times. To be faithful to YaHuWaH, being obedient to his voice, understanding that if he has commanded us to do something in his word, that is our duty because we love him, to fulfill it and to continue in him.
I was thinking about, because it says that I have not eaten any of it when in mourning, nor have I removed any of it for any unclean use, nor given any of it for the dead. So I was thinking that maybe if it says that like a reinforcement that I have done this, maybe sometimes we are going to feel tempted to use that third tithe without purposes, and those are related to death. If you read here, in mourning usually is when you are in a.
It's connected. Sometimes it's connected to death.
Sometimes. And sometimes the unclean use, not everything, but it's also related to the también, also to a that may be process, and also it says to death. So we have to realize that maybe we're going to be tempted to do it in that way, but it says, I am going to give it to the stranger, to the fatherless, and to the widow. Is not people who are dead, it's people who are in need. Correct. So they are needing something, but being dead is something different. It's when you cannot do anything else there. So
that's true. And what is written in the verse 15 should be our attitude every time that we're praying, and we need to put it in practice. It's just not a matter to believe it. We need to pray in this way. You know, yesterday I said something and you told me, and this is very, how is it? You're daring to say this.
Yeah.
Because I was
Yeah.
saying, YaHuWaH, what are you waiting for?
Mm.
You need to act, I was saying.
Yeah.
And then I didn't want to be disrespectful, but you know, the only one that can do something is him.
Mm.
And this is exactly what is the prayer about. Look from your set apart dwelling place, from the heavens, and bless your people Israel and the land that you have given us. So we need to ask Abba to look into his people and to bless us. It's true that all these commandments are related to the land, but you know, this is also land, and we're going to talk in the next chapter about this. He's given us blessings, and we need to recognize that he is the one giving us those blessings, and we need to ask him to bless us in this soil, because we are from the soil, from the dust of the ground. Okay, so let's continue. Today YaHuWaH your Elohim is commanding you to do these laws and mishpatim, hukim and mishpatim, laws and right rulings, and you shall guard and do them with all your heart and with all your being. We have been talking in the last 2 weeks, previous week, is that we need to learn how to judge, how to do right ruling, how to apply right ruling in a righteous way, according to how the word is teaching us to do it. Mashiach in the chapter 18 of the book of Matthew is teaching us a process on how to handle difficult situations. And we need to learn how to do it because we're going to judge messengers, the fallen messengers. We need to learn how to judge. So we need to apply it in our lives. Guard and do them with all your heart, and we need to do it with heart, with compassion, with all our being. You have today caused YaHuWaH to proclaim to be your Elohim, and to walk in his ways and guard his laws and his commands, and his right rulings, and to obey his voice, obedience, all over the place. And YaHuWaH has caused you to proclaim today to be his people, a treasured possession, and he has spoken to you and to guard all his commands, so as to set you high above all nations, which he has made for a praise and for a name and for esteem, and for you to be a set-apart people to YaHuWaH your Elohim as he has spoken, a treasured possession. And this is the part that I wanted to mention, but maybe you have something to share first.
The thing that is kind of in 2 ways that it says in the 17, you have today caused YaHuWaH to proclaim to be your Elohim. So with our actions, if we are applying and living all the right ruling, all the Torah, all the commands that he is giving us, we are asking Abba, and we are moved him to proclaim that we are his people. And that he is our Elohim. And in the same way, YaHuWaH is making us to proclaim that we are his people, his set-apart people. So it's
a two-way, it's a covenant, you know, both of them needs to be in agreement.
Yeah. So he's proud that we are his people, and we're going to be proud that he is our Elohim. So that's beautiful.
Absolutely. So let me see if I found it here. So it says today to be his people, a treasured possession. And this is written again in Exodus. A treasure possession. You know, let me go back. A treasure possession. We're gonna do it by heart, and you will remember, and it's gonna be your homework to look for it. Okay. YaHuWaH has chosen Israel in order to be a treasure possession, and Kefa in 1 Peter, he's talking about that. In order to be a nation of what? You remember?
Priests and kings.
A nation of priests and kings. That's a treasure possession. You know, from everything he has created, he has decided to take a treasure possession for himself in the same way that he did with the Levites. It's going to be for a special purpose. is going to be, in order for them to be kings and priests. What is the role of a king? Is to guide, to rule, is to judge, is to go and lead into the battle. Just remember King David, remember all the kings of Israel, they were doing that. Is to judge with Mishpatim. Moshe, though he was not a king because that role was not in that moment yet, he was a shofet, was the previous role before king. He was the leader and he was judging the people in right ruling. So that's the role of a king. What's the role of a priest? Is to intercede, is to bring offerings, is to bring offerings to YaHuWaH, is to consult with YaHuWaH,
to teach, and
is to guide in the way of Torah.
And to help the people to understand the difference between what is clean or what is pure and the unclean.
Exactly. Between what is bad and what is good. Is to be, the intercessor in the worship and in the guidance of YaHuWaH. We are trying to summarize in a very simple way, just to put the picture. You can do the analysis, and you know this because we have been studying for years already. Those two roles were separated in two persons, the king and the priest. Now both roles are being unified in one person of Yahushua HaMashiach. Yahushua is king and priest. That's why he is Kohen in the order of Melchizedek, because he's king and priest at the same time. So he is taking, in the same way that he is going to take the tree of Ephraim or Joseph and the tree of Yehuda, and he's going to put both of them together just to have only one tree. Once again, that's the unification of the kingdom. In himself, he is unifying the two roles, king and priest. If we're going to follow the step of Yahushua, and when YaHuWaH is saying that we are that treasure possession of being kings and priests, we have the two roles as well, meaning that we need to learn both roles. How to guide, how to judge in righteousness, how to bring offerings to YaHuWaH Elohim, how to guide people in the truth, how to differentiate between the evil and the good, how to show compassion, how to act in love, how to be ready for battle, how to go into the battle every time that YaHuWaH is guiding us. Because if he's guiding us to the spiritual battle, he is going to fight for us. We need to examine ourselves. Are we fulfilling those roles as the special treasure possession of YaHuWaH Elohim? The answer, you need to find it, is the Ruach, the one that's going to tell you in your heart if you're missing some part. It's not, if you're missing any part, it's not to judge and condemn yourself. To the opposite. It's the moment, if you realize that I'm missing a part, you need to start seeking with all your heart, asking Abba to teach you the missing part you have. But we need to do it, because if we don't do it now that we are in the boot camp, how we are going to be able to do it when the real thing is coming? And even though that we are in the boot camp, now in the boot camp, we are on the job training, in the on-the-job training. Is the time in order to put things in practice. We're in the world. It's a very difficult situation with scorpions, serpents, wild animals surrounding us in the wilderness. But he did it, I think, in purpose, because, it's the best way to learn. When things are easy, we tend not to learn. When we're going through difficulties is when we learn the most. So now is the time to learn how to apply these two roles to our lives. Because when the Son of Righteousness rise and appear, it's not going to be training anymore. It's going to be the real thing. We need to be ready for that.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's go to 27.
And Moshe with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, guard all the commands which I am commanding you today. And it shall be on the day when you pass over the Jordan to the land which YaHuWaH your Elohim is giving you, that you shall set up for yourselves large stones and plaster them with plaster, and write on them all the words of this Torah when you have passed over, so that you go into the land which YaHuWaH your Elohim is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, as YaHuWaH Elohim of your father has spoken to you. And it shall be, when you have passed over the Jordan, that on Mount Ebal you set up these stones, which I command you today, and you shall plaster them with plaster, and build a slaughter place to YaHuWaH your Elohim there, a slaughter place of stones. Do not use an iron tool on them. Build a slaughter place of YaHuWaH your Elohim with complete stones, and you shall offer ascending offerings of it on it to YaHuWaH your Elohim, and shall slaughter peace offerings, and eat there, and rejoice before YaHuWaH your Elohim. And you know what is funny? Mount Ebal. Ebal means bald or bare mountain. And I was thinking, because then
Putting
we are
hair.
going to
Like putting hair.
no because it says that there we are going to put the Torah, there we are going to have the slaughter place. And bare, being, it doesn't say you anything, being barefoot maybe is where you're going to do your offerings.
Could be.
And like
Thank you, I forgot to do that.
yeah. And doing offerings, peace offering, ascending offerings is our prayers. So that's beautiful, that maybe you have two places, and it's like you have one special place where you go and approach to your father. And being there like barefoot, like Moshe was there when he was instructed to take out his shoes. Yeah, I think that is something also beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the name. Okay. And sorry, that's it. And then we are going to, and because now we are going to go to the okay, sorry,
I don't know where you finished,
I don't remember.
but you can read it anyways from 6 onward.
Yeah. No, okay. And now is the 8. And you shall write all the words
Sorry.
of this Torah on the stones, plainly and well. So we have to do that. And Moshe and the priests, the Levites, spoke to all Israel, saying, Be silent and hear, O Israel. This day you have become the people of YaHuWaH your Elohim, and you shall obey the voice of YaHuWaH your Elohim, and do his commands and his laws, which I command you today. And Moshe commanded the people on that day, saying, These are to stand on Mount Gerizim. Gerizim is the other mount. So, and they are in opposition.
Yeah.
And Gerizim means cut off or cutting off. So, to bless the people. Then you have passed over the Jordan. So, okay. When you have passed over the Jordan, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, and Yisachar, and Yehusep, and Benjamin. And these are to stand on Mount Ebal to curse. So they were standing in the opposite way.
I don't know what you mean by the opposite way.
Because when you have to put the slaughter place and when you have to pray,
yes,
you need to do it in Mount Ebal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the curses were there. But this is very significant because it's basically, in the way that I see it, okay, here's the Torah and the curses. So you have the two alternatives. You have everything written here. You know what you have to do. And by doing this, okay, if you don't do it, the curses are represented by the same.
Yeah. Yeah. These are to stand on Mount Gerizim to bless the people when you have passed over the Jordan, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, and Joseph and Benjamin. And these are to stand on Mount Ebal to curse Reuben, Gad, and Asher, and Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali, the other 6. And the Levites shall speak with a loud voice and say to all the men of Israel.
And let's wait a minute because I want to mention something. Okay. It is interesting because we see a pattern here on the covenant. Okay, we see a pattern that is really important. We know that the Torah of YaHuWaH was given in Horeb. Was 2 stones, tablet stones, that the Moshe was breaking this and renewing the stones. Then we have this.
You have the 2 mounts.
You have 2 mountains, but also they needed to put the rocks. It says what it is. Passover, large stone and plaster there. So most probably they needed to use a lot of stones in order to write everything. But again, it's the 2 mountains and writing in the stones all Torah. And in the renewed covenant, he said that he's going to write all Torah here in the heart. So the heart is also, if you search this out, though it's having 4 places, the heart is divided in 2. So it's representing somehow also the heart. So I think it's a really interesting pattern of how YaHuWaH is showing us what he had been thinking from the very beginning, is to establish the covenant with his people, putting evidences of writing this. Yesterday we were checking a beautiful video about the Ruach, and person says something really interesting regarding a sealed. The sealed is something that it's not that it's hidden, that nobody is going to be able to see. It's a visible thing. Visible, so you are going to be able to understand and see, this thing belongs to this person. What are these wax seals or letter in the past? That was the example that he was bringing to the table. The only way to identify that this letter was an official letter, because they knew the seal. So it's a visible thing. That's why, YaHuWaH is giving all these patterns just to show, okay, this is part of my covenant with you. And this is exactly what you said, it's my covenant with you and your covenant with me. And I'm giving you all this instruction and telling you, please write this down in order for you to remember, in order not to forget, in order not to do mistakes, in order to remember that you are in a covenant with me. And this covenant, is having this pattern all over the places. And for those of you that they heard the study on the States, it's interesting that, it's always going from the external to the internal. It's going from, small things, that is being seen by the eyes, but it's going to the inside. It's going from the rocks, from the land and from the earth, to the rock of our heart that needs to be changed. So we need to see what's the heart of Allah and what he's showing us about obedience and about the covenant. So let's read the curses now. So verse 15.
Okay. Cursed is the man who makes a carved or molded image, an abomination to YaHuWaH, the work of the hands of the craftsman, and set it up in secret. And all the people shall say and answer, Amen. Cursed is he who makes light of his father or his mother, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who moves his neighbor's boundary, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who misleads the blind in the way, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who twists the right ruling of the stranger, the fatherless and widow, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with his father's wife, because he has uncovered his father's bed, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with any beast, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with his sister, the daughter of his father or the daughter of his mother, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with his mother-in-law, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who strikes his neighbor secretly, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who takes a bribe to strike an innocent being, and all the people shall say, Amen. Cursed is he who does not establish the words of this Torah. And all the people shall say, Amen.
And I have always thought in this last one is so critical because, it's a curse not to establish the words of this Torah. And it's just to be grateful and thankful to Abba that he has opened our eyes to his ancient path. Because understanding that YaHuWaH HaMashiach was teaching us Torah. If not, he was going to be under this curse. He is teaching us and showing us the true way. And, that's why, every day of our lives, we need to establish the words as first and guide others later. Okay? Let's move on to the chapter 28. And this one we're going to do it together, right?
Yeah,
I'm reading until 34. Okay.
Yeah.
So it says the following, and it shall be, if you diligently obey the voice of YaHuWaH your Elohim to guard to do all his commands, which I command you today, that YaHuWaH your Elohim shall set you high above all nations of the earth. So here we have the perfect explanation or description what it means to be obedient to the voice of YaHuWaH. Because here, Moshe, under the guidance of the Ruach of Elohim, is saying that obeying the voice of YaHuWaH to guard, to do all this command, to do the commandments, is to be in the covenant. This is the desire of the heart of YaHuWaH, that we are keeping our part of the covenant. Okay? So that's true obedience. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you, if you obey the voice of YaHuWaH your Elohim. It says, blessed are you in the city, and blessed are you in the field. And this is interesting when we think on also in the end times. It's true that YaHuWaH said that we need to, when we see the abomination of desolation, that we need to flee to the mountains. It's true what we have been sharing with you here in the studies, that being in the city, we talked about this last week, I think, we have more the chances to be surrounded by sin and to fall into sin than being on the field. It's true that it's much better to be in nature than being in the city, because even you feel yourself differently. But even though if we're obedient to the voice of YaHuWaH by keeping his Torah, he's saying that he's going to bless us no matter where we are. If we're in the field or if we're in the city. And that's so important. The protection will come through obedience and also through the operation of the Ruach HaKodesh. Why I'm saying this? Because of the example that we were talking last week about Daniel. Daniel wasn't in the land, the prophet. He wasn't in the land, he was in captivity in Babylon. And he was blessed. He was blessed in the city, he was blessed in the field, even though he was not in the land. How he did that, how he was able to do that, because he was obedient to the voice of YaHuWaH. He was operating under the Ruach of Elohim. We saw those examples last week. So all the blessings we're going to read here is totally thinking on the promised land, but also are totally applicable to us today. We can go and tell Abba, you have promised me blessings. And I'm not talking about prosperity and the gospel of prosperity, because this is totally to be led astray. I'm talking about the blessings and the promises of YaHuWaH Elohim. Our focus is to obey. It's the same with the operations of the Ruach. If our focus is the manifestation of the Ruach and the signs and the wonders, as we were reading in Matthew 24, we will see signs and wonders from false prophets and Messiah and false teachers, and they can lead astray even the chosen ones. If our focus is in the people, if our focus is in the teachers, in men and women, prophets, if our focus is in the signs and wonders, we are missing the blessing. our focus should be in Messiah. Our focus should be in obeying the voice of YaHuWaH by keeping his covenant, worshiping him in truth of Torah and in spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, in order not to be deceived. So the blessings, we can have it now, but not focus on the blessing. Focus on the one blessing and to obey his voice. So blessed is the fruit of your body, and the fruit of your ground, and the fruit of your livestock, the increase of your cattle, and the offspring of your flocks. You know, could we apply this to the fruit of the Spirit? I think so. If we obey and we seek in obedience and in love the fruit of our bodies, it could be the fruit of the Ruach HaKodesh manifested in us. What we heard yesterday is also a beautiful example. A fruit takes time to appear. It's different than a gift. A gift is something that is being given in one moment in time. If I have a gift to you, I'm going to give you this cup. Yeah. This is yours. You can take it. Okay? But a fruit cannot appear unless it's a miracle, as the
like
rod of Aaron. But naturally, the fruits take time to appear. It takes a process. Need sun, need soil, need water, need time. And the fruit will appear on the tree. We are like trees. So here, our body can produce fruit. It can produce fruit of the flesh. And that takes time sometimes. If we are going astray and not living according to the righteousness, we will see fruit of the flesh. But the fruit of the spirits, if we are living in the Ruach and we are living in righteousness of the kingdom, also is a blessing from YaHuWaH. And those are the fruits that we need to seek for. Blessed is your basket and your kneading bowl. Is just to have food. And it could be related to our stomachs. Blessed are you when you come in, and blessed are you when you go out, everywhere we go. YaHuWaH causes your enemies who rise against you to be smitten before your face. They come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. And this is also beautiful, a spiritual battle. If the enemy is coming to us, if the evil spirits trying to do a mess up with us, in our thoughts, in our hearts, in our minds, if we are being blessed by YaHuWaH, we have the authority in order to have the blessings from YaHuWaH so they can flee. And if they came from one way, they will go through 7 ways. And this, I think, is very representative. If we think in the menorah and what this number 7 represents. But we can demand that blessing if we really are under the blessing. YaHuWaH commands the blessing on you in your storehouses and in all to which you set your hand, and shall bless you in the land which YaHuWaH your Elohim is giving you. YaHuWaH does establish you as a set-apart people to himself, as he has sworn to you, if you guard the commands of YaHuWaH your Elohim and walk in his ways. It's exactly what we're talking about, the role of being kings and priests. Who is the one who is going to do it? If we seek his voice and his commandments, and we seek him with the real heart, because all of this that he has been talking is about doing it from the heart. It's YaHuWaH, the one who is going to establish you as a set-apart people with the role of king and priest. And all peoples of the earth, if you guard the commands of YaHuWaH your Elohim and walk in his ways, that's going to be the condition in order for YaHuWaH to establish us as the treasured possession. And all the peoples of the earth shall see that the name of YaHuWaH is called upon you, and they shall be afraid of you. Instead of us being afraid of them, they are going to be afraid of us. Why? What is causing fear?
Is that YaHuWaH is with us.
What's going through the eyes?
I was saying something different,
No.
but it sounds similarly.
Yes. We are afraid of things we see.
Mm.
And we are afraid of things we remember.
Mm.
And we remember things that we already saw. It's a kind of tricky what I'm saying. I'm talking like a Paul now. But it's true, you know, it's through the images. Well, when we see something that is fearful, we can be afraid. So how the people, considering this promise that they are going to be afraid of us, is because they're going to see something in us. In order for the people to be afraid of us, because YaHuWaH is going to do something so great with us that people is going to be able to see it and they're going to be afraid. What happened with the disciples in the book of Acts? You know, when they saw the signs and wonders and the message being delivered by the Ruach through the mouths and the voice of the disciples, they were afraid most of the time. You can go and read the book of Acts and you will understand what I'm talking about. Their hearts were pierced with fear of YaHuWaH because they saw something. And this is exactly the promise. But in order to receive the blessing, we need to seek for it and we need to be obedient. You see the two things, it's the pattern, it's repetitive. Seeking YaHuWaH with all the heart, being obedient to his voice, keeping his commandment in order to receive the blessing. And part of the blessing is going to be manifested with the Ruach of Elohim in power, that power that we need in these times in order for the people to fear the treasure possession of YaHuWaH. It says the verse 11, and YaHuWaH shall make you to have plenty of what is good, in the fruit of your body, in the fruit of your livestock, and in the fruit of your ground, in the land of which YaHuWaH swore to your father to give you. You know, one thing that we have been talking lately is that we are all afraid what's going to happen. You know, we are going to need to detach from the system of the world because of everything that's going to happen. We need to start storing food and so on. You know, this is acting with fear. Should we store food? Yes, it's a wise decision, but it should be our focus. No, because we are going to be acting out of fear. We have a promise here written that he's going to take care of us. He's going to take care of us. Sometimes we need the material in order to receive the blessing. Yahushua asked for the fishes and the loaves of bread, and he multiplied the food. So don't worry about what's coming tomorrow. Every day has its own evil, said Yahushua. Focus yourself on the righteousness and the kingdom of YaHuWaH. If you have the means to store food, do it, but don't get crazy on that, because this is going to be out of fear. If you have little food, it's going to be like the widow, the story of Elijah. She had a little bit of wheat and oil during the drought of many years. And what YaHuWaH did, he did a miracle and he multiplied the food. The time is coming that we are going to see all those miracles happen. But it's time for us to start believing here in our heart that YaHuWaH can do these kind of things. If we don't have the time of Emunah, we will see nothing. We need to start believing. In the same way that we began believing in Torah, we need to start believing in the Ruach and in the power and the manifestation of YaHuWaH through the Ruach of Elohim. That we will see those in our own lives, those blessings. YaHuWaH opens to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season. Isn't this a parallel of the Ruach of Elohim? Waters from above coming, the living waters from YaHuWaH being poured out to his people as part of the blessing. And that blessing is coming by the hand of Yahushua HaMashiach the Baptizer, in order to bless the people with the rain that is coming from him. The latter rain is coming. and to bless all the work of your hand. And you shall lend to many nations, but you do not borrow. And YaHuWaH shall make you the head and not the tail. Remember the story of Daniel, the prophet, we were talking last week. And you shall be only on top and not beneath, if you obey the commands of YaHuWaH your Elohim, which I command you today to guard and do. And do not turn aside from any of the words which I am commanding you today, right or left, to go after other mighty ones, to serve them. That's why our eyes to Yahushua and nobody else. Yahushua HaMashiach, because he's not deviating to the right nor to the left. He's going straight forward to the north, to the destiny of the kingdom of YaHuWaH. If we follow his steps and he walk in Torah and in the Ruach, we are not going to miss the point. We are not going to miss the mark. We are going to endure until the end. This is exactly somehow what is talking about here, the portion. And it shall be, if you do not obey the voice of YaHuWaH your Elohim, to guard to do all his commands and his laws which I command you today, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Cursed are you in the city, and cursed are you in the field. It's exactly the opposite. Cursed is your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed is the fruit of your body and the fruit of your land, the increase of your cattle and the offspring of your flocks. Cursed are you when you come in, and cursed are you when you go out. YaHuWaH sends on you the curse, the confusion, and the rebuke in all that you set your hand to do. And we need to be so careful with this. Confusion and rebuke are part of curses. That's why we need to seek. If we're in peace with YaHuWaH, he is going to be the one that's going to reveal to us if we are under a curse or not. And we know that we were under a curse, but he sent Yahushua HaMashiach in order to set us free of the cursed. And we have, in order to have freedom, but we need to be under Yahushua in order to do so. Until you are destroyed and until you perish quickly because of the evil of your doings by which you have forsaken me. You know, if we forsake him, it's connected on the curses and disobedience. YaHuWaH makes the plague cling to you until he has consumed you from the land which you are going to possess. YaHuWaH strikes you with wasting disease and with inflammation and with burning and with extreme heat and with the sword and with blight and with mildew, and they shall pursue you until you perish. And we need to be careful because we are so quick to judge. It doesn't mean that if we are going through sickness is that we are under the curse. No, it can be many situations. We can be under a trial in order to fortify us because we need to learn something. Maybe we are, and YaHuWaH allowed that to happen. Maybe it's because we are under a curse. It could be because we have been done something we do this cleansing, or because we are under a generational curse that we need to seek the face of YaHuWaH in order to be set free. And that's why it's so important we begin to act in the roles of what Yahushua has been teaching us, of kings and priests. He came here, as I said at the beginning when we began this broadcast, is to set free those one in prisons, to bind out the brokenhearted, is to heal the brokenhearted, is to rescue those who are in darkness. That's the role of a king and a priest, because in both things you need to go to the battle, to the spiritual battle, and also you need to guide in righteousness. So we need to use discernment, but the real discernment of the Ruach of Elohim. And your heavens, which are over your head, shall be bronze, and the earth which is under you iron. So rain is not going to come. The Ruach of Elohim is not going to come. YaHuWaH makes the rain of your land powder and dust from the heavens. It comes down on you until you are destroyed. YaHuWaH causes you to be defeated before your enemies. You go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and you shall become a horror to all the reigns of the earth. So what Yahushua said about the strong man, the evil spirit, that is going to the dry places, and then it's coming back to the home, and it sees decorated, and he's going again and takes 7 more. And the situation of the person is going to be worse. And this is exactly what we see here. If we deviate ourselves from the word of YaHuWaH, we can be operating under a curse. But we have the blessings and the relation of Yahushua HaMashiach in order to defeat our enemies and not to be defeated. And your carcasses shall be food for all the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the earth, with no one to frighten them away. So, who are the birds of the heavens? When we analyze the parable of the sower, Yahushua is saying that the birds representing evil spirits that are taking away the seed of the kingdom of YaHuWaH. So, it's a direct connection to our spiritual battle. It's true, it has a physical application. It's true. But the spiritual application that we need to be ready to see it with the spiritual eyes in the world that we are living today, and to act according to what YaHuWaH is commanding us. YaHuWaH shall strike you with the boils of Mizraim, with tumors, with the scab, and with the itch, from which you are unable to be healed. YaHuWaH shall strike you with madness and blindness, and the bewilderment. Bewilderment. I always fail on pronouncing this one. Bewilderment of heart. Blindness, spiritual blindness, physical blindness. Be mad, be focused in something totally opposite to the kingdom. The bewilderment, is to be anxious, to be afraid of what's happening here on the heart, instead of remembering what YaHuWaH has done for us. By the way, I have been working for weeks already in a video that I hope to have ready soon, that is talking about the brokenness of the heart, how we have to fight back with that brokenness. So pray about it, and I hope it's going to be a blessing to you. It's exactly what somehow connected to this verse. And you shall be groping at noon, as a blind man gropes in darkness, and not prosper in your ways. And you shall be only oppressed and plundered all the days, with no one to save you. You become engaged to a wife, but another man does lie with her. You build a house, but do not dwell in it. You plant a vineyard, but do not use its fruit. You have something to share? I just felt something that I'm just speaking, and maybe you have good points to share.
Maybe
later?
Yeah, maybe later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your ox is slaughtered before your eyes, but you do not eat of it. Your donkey is violently taken from before you, and it is not given back to you. Your sheep are given to your enemies, with no one to save them. Your sons and your daughters are given to another people, and your eyes look and fail for them all day long. And your hand powerless. This is very sad, all these curses, because of disobedience. Applicable physically and applicable spiritually. A people whom you have not known eat the fruit of your land and all your labors, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed all the days, and you shall be maddened because of the sight which your eyes see.
Okay.
It's your time. I don't know if you want to comment something on what I just read.
No, that when you started this chapter, it was mentioned that all the blessings are also like in 3 levels. Are first related to ourselves, then are related to the things that are surrounding us, like the livestock, the things that we own maybe, and then the land is the place where we live. So that is so beautiful, because it's the way that Ava is going to bless us, or to apply some curses, is going to be on those 3 levels. So sometimes when you were saying that about not all the diseases are going to be related to because you have received a curse. No, maybe it's the way that he is telling you. You need to check something in your life. Maybe you need to work. Maybe the disease is going to be just the base of a miracle, like when YaHuWaH was doing. So, and maybe he's just, and we have to know also that diseases and everything is also the way out from this world as we know it, because this is a temporary thing and we have different doors. So one of the doors is also diseases. So sometimes when there is no way out, when we have, pray, when we have talked with Abba and he have let us know that maybe this is the way that he is going to take us, we don't have to fight back with him, because maybe is the way that he is going to take our spirit from this place here. And we were discussing about that all the society, all the world today is like doing the opposite. They want to do their will, and sometimes against Abba's will. So we have to be very careful, not always to take the blessing and the curses with him. If this is a curse, or maybe it's something else. So that's it. And about the rain in the season, is a blessing, because everything is work in, you said, a perfect timing, a perfect cycle. If a rain is going to be sent in a different season, it could be a very dangerous thing for the fruit that maybe is not ready because it's just the bud. Maybe it could be killing some birds, some little animals. So that is the promise, that Abba wants to give his rain on its season, on the perfect timing. So maybe some people who are babies in the faith, or maybe they are not ready, maybe they are going to be taken away, because if the rain is going to be poured out, maybe it's going to be a damage. They can suffer.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thought, and actually it's connected to what we said at the beginning of the broadcast about compassion.
Yeah. Okay, and now my turn. I'm going to continue with the read. YaHuWaH strikes you in the knees and on the legs with evil boils on which you are unable to be healed, and from the sole of your foot to the top of your head. YaHuWaH brings you, and the sovereign whom you set over you, to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known, and there you shall serve all the mighty ones, wood and stone. Thus you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a mockery among all the peoples to which YaHuWaH drives you. You take much seed out into the field, but gather little in, for the locusts consume it. You plant vineyards, and shall labor, but you neither drink of the wine nor gather, for the worm eats it. You have olive trees in all your border. That's interesting. Having olive trees in all the borders. And you know that the olive trees give you the oil for lighting the menorah. And we don't have to miss him. So the border is the protection that we have. But you do not anoint with oil, for your olives drop off. You bring forth sons and daughters, but they are not with you, for they go into captivity. Locusts possess all your trees and the fruit of your ground. The sojourner who is among you rises higher and higher above you, but you come down lower and lower. He lends to you, and we can see that, that is happening in the economic system that we have. Instead of doing something that is from the inside, like a local thing, all this global economy and things like that is doing this, is the result of this. He lends to you, but you do not lend to him. He is the head, and you are the tail. And all these curses shall come upon you, and they shall pursue and overtake you, until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of YaHuWaH your Elohim to guard his commands and his laws which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and on your seed forever. Because you did not serve YaHuWaH your Elohim with joy and gladness of heart for all the plenty.
So you see,
and
we can have two types of signs, a good sign or a bad sign. What happened with Cain? He also got a sign.
Yeah.
And everybody was able to identify him as the first murderer. So here is exactly the same. We can have a sign because of disobedience, but also we can have a sign of obedience.
That's nice. And also, it says, why maybe we're going to receive all these curses? Because you did not serve YaHuWaH your Elohim with joy and gladness of heart for all the plenty. And sometimes that is happening.
Yeah.
We are receiving a lot of blessing and things like that, and then we are get used to that, and we think, okay, that's okay, I deserve it, and we start doing all our work or all our lives like not with the joy that we need to demonstrate him that we are appreciating every blessing that he gave us.
It's our attitude.
It's our attitude. What happened if you give to somebody something and that person, okay, I don't know, okay, thank you, that's it, and he never, I don't know, I gave you maybe a t-shirt or something, or I need to you a scarf, and you never use it. What is going to
I have that.
Yeah, but I'm being with irony. I'm saying this with irony. What is going to happen if you never use it? What is going to?
Yeah, you're not gonna feel good.
Yeah, because it's like you didn't appreciate what I have gave you. But if you are okay and you're glad and you're doing and you are showing joy, and that you are happy with what I gave you, then the other person is going to be even more willing to give you more stuff and things like that. That is how our Abba is with us. He's a father that wants to give us blessings, but that we can show in him with an honest heart, because he's not going to be thankful if you are going just for saying, just for we receiving more. No, it's not that the case. It's that we really appreciate with an honest heart.
And that's why we need to, serve him. I think it's two things here. Because you did not serve YaHuWaH your Elohim. So we need to serve him at all times. We were talking a minute ago about this. If we have plenty or we have nothing, we need to serve him. It's the same thing that happened with Job, and this is a perfect book in order to understand what we're talking about. Is to understand that we own nothing. We own nothing. Everything we have is just even our life. We're able to have food without keeping totally aside the industrial complex and everything that the food processing chains and so on. Food is a blessing from Abba. It's part of nature, what he created. So we need to serve him. He's the one giving us everything. So the first thing he's saying, serve me. Acknowledge that I am YaHuWaH Elohim, the maker of the heavens and the earth. And the second is how we're going to do it, just with our lips. What Yahushua said, these people worship me with their lips, but their hearts are far away from me. No, it's to do it with the heart. Heart is a key. The heart is a key. Because from the overflow of the heart, the mouth speak. So what we store here is a kind of is the commutator, if I can put it like that. It's gonna allow us to let the rivers of living water to flow from inside us, to operate through the Ruach with gladness of heart and plenty and joy, because those joy is part of the fruit of the Ruach. Or we're going to just do it with a heart of stone and do it in appearance and just with our lips. So we need to be faithful in the little, and we need to be faithful in the plenty. Serving YaHuWaH with joy. Just even if we have little, just to take a look in the small things what YaHuWaH is doing. I remember many years ago, sometimes it was happening to me that was driving and I was taking a look in the clouds and seeing the birds flying, and I was filled with so much joy inside me just to look at this one that was the during the sunrise, because it's just to take a look in those little details, the amazing hand of love of YaHuWaH for all of us, righteous and unrighteous, because he's given the Son for righteous and unrighteous. It's true that he's seeking us to be obedient, and he's bringing justice and judgment at the end in order to restore all things. But even he's so patient now that he's bringing these blessings for righteous and unrighteous.
And you shall serve your enemies whom YaHuWaH sends against you, in hunger and in thirst and in that nakedness and in need of all. And he shall put the yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. YaHuWaH shall bring a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose language you shall not understand, a fierce-looking nation, which shall show no regard for the elderly, nor show favor to the young. And they shall eat the fruit of your livestock and the fruit of your land until you are destroyed. They leave you no grain, nor new wine or oil, nor the increase of your cattle of the offspring of your flocks, until they have destroyed you. And they shall besiege you at all your gates till your high and fences wall in which you are trusting come down in all your land. That is, if we are trusting in that, in the material stuff, in the things that we think that can protect us.
Absolutely.
And they shall besiege you at all your gates in all your land which YaHuWaH your Elohim has given you. And you shall eat the fruit of your own body, the flesh of your sons and your daughters whom YaHuWaH your Elohim has given you, in the siege and distress in which your enemies distress you. The man among you who is tender and who is very delicate, his eye is evil against his brother, against the wife of his bosom, and against the rest of the children whom he leaves behind.
Remember, it's now that I see it, is very similar to what we were reading in the book of Matthew. Brothers going to be, they're going to deliver
Their own families.
one another.
Yeah.
He's saying against the wife of his bosom, against the rest of the children, against his brother.
Against giving any of them the flesh of his children that he eats, because it is all that has been left to him in the siege and distress which your enemy distresses you in all your gates. The tender and the delicate woman among you, who has not tried to set the sole of her foot on the ground because of her delicateness and tenderness, her eye is evil against the husband of her bosom, and against her son, against her daughter, and against her seed which comes out from between her feet, and her children whom she bears, for she eats them in secret for lack of all, in the siege and distress with which your enemy distresses you in all your gates.
There are so many stories in the history that this type of things has happening, but also I do believe this is all having a spiritual.
And today we don't have to. Maybe it's not something nice. This is an abomination. But what they are doing with the little babies that they are aborting, or they are inducing the people to abort, is to put it in the food.
Yeah.
To put it in the makeup, to put it in the creams that usually the cosmetic area that a lot of women maybe we were used to use in the past, and we didn't know, and we were ignorant about that. So we have to be very careful and read always the small letters, because now this is being done in our times.
And it's not only that, this is somehow related to the spirit of Israel. Is all this movement that we see happening nowadays, is that even group of women are pushing for abortion. and the many other stuff that
Yeah.
this is not the moment to talk about
Yeah,
it.
but
But somehow it's a kind of evidence or representation of exactly what is happening here. It's against the husband, it's against the son, it's against the daughter, it's against the seed. So so I think it's very representative, especially what we were talking a few weeks ago about the lack of leadership and men, lack of men that are standing up and making a step forward to take the role and the leadership that the word of YaHuWaH is showing us in order to reestablish order. And we don't see that happening in these days. You know, and I do believe that, and we have been talking about the same, if men are not stepping up, YaHuWaH is using sisters in a mighty way to do it, in the same way that we saw happening in Torah.
yeah, that's true. If you do not guard to do all the words of this Torah that are written in this book, to fear this esteemed and awesome name, YaHuWaH your Elohim, then YaHuWaH shall bring upon you and your descendants extraordinary plagues, great and lasting plagues, and grievous and lasting sicknesses. And he shall bring on you all the diseases of Mizraim, of which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you. Also every sicknesses and every plague which is not written in the book of this Torah, YaHuWaH does bring upon you until you are destroyed.
Wow, even those things that are not written but that do exist are gonna be upon.
And you shall be left with few men, although you have become as numerous as the stars of the heavens, because you did not obey the voice of YaHuWaH your Elohim. And it shall be, as YaHuWaH rejoiced over you to do good and increase you, so YaHuWaH does rejoice over you to destroy you and lay you waste. And you shall be plucked from off the land which you go to possess. And YaHuWaH shall scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve other mighty ones, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. And among those nations you are to find no rest, nor have a resting place for the sole of your foot. But there shall give you a trembling heart, unfailing eyes, and YaHuWaH sorrow being. I think that it's kind of in sorrow being. I think that it's showing something bad. And your life shall be hanging in suspense before you, and you shall fear night and day, and not be certain of your life. In the morning you say, oh, that it were evening, and in the evening you say, oh, that it were morning, because of the fear of your heart, with which you fear, and because of the sight which your eyes see. And YaHuWaH shall bring you back to Mizraim in ships, by a way of which I said to you, you are never to see it again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies as male and female slave, but no one to buy.
So here the point that I wanted to make, you know, if we are in fear of what's going on, will we be operating under the curse? Because it's saying, and among those nations you are to find no rest. We are among the nations at this point, nor have a resting place for the sole of your foot. But there shall give you a trembling heart, and failing eyes, and sorrow of being, and your life shall be hanging in suspense before you, and you shall fear night and day, and not be certain of your life. So, if we are in fear of what's happening in the world, we are operating under the curse, and we are being, as I said before, we are being set free of any curse. By the redemption brought by Yahushua HaMashiach. So let's continue in freedom in order to receive the blessing by obeying the word of YaHuWaH. And let's not go back into the cursed. Because, you know, why Yahushua came to give us freedom if we are deciding to go back into the cursed by having fear. To the contrary, as I was speaking before, we need to seek to cause fear in others We are not going to be the ones. Don't take me wrong. It's going to be YaHuWaH causing fear in the hearts of others through us. But what he's going to do through us shouldn't be our focus to cause fear. But if it's necessary, YaHuWaH will do it. Our focus, again, is to serve YaHuWaH, to fear only Him, to be obedient to His voice, to follow Yahushua, is to be obedient to Torah, and to seek the manifestation of the Ruach HaKodesh. We cannot miss the last point either, especially now, in these times. You want to say something?
Yeah, that we cannot have fear of leaving this training camp, as you have said. We cannot have fear of leaving this behind, because this is not the place that Abba created for us. This is the place that is contaminated, that is polluted. Imagine how you are going to miss the way that we are seeing how the world is behaving. We cannot have our heart attached to this world. Our focus, our hope, our expectancy, everything needs to be
In the coming world.
to the coming world. And the fear that we need to have is that maybe we are not ready. Maybe we have the bar here, and maybe we are here, so we have a gap. And our fear is that not to have enough time to go until that place. So to be ready for what Abba wants from us. So that is the fear that we need to have, but not the fear of this life, not the fear of things that doesn't matter.
That are going to be consumed at the end.
Yeah, they're
With
going to
fire.
disappear. So we don't have to even think about them.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have to put our worries about that.
What was the phrase you showed me yesterday?
You don't have to be worried about what is going about the tomorrow's travel, because it's not going to bring you anything. It's just going to take away your today's shalom.
Yes, exactly. If we worry on what's coming on the travels of tomorrow, it's going to take our shalom.
But from today,
From
so
today.
at the end,
Today is going to take our shalom, and we are going to be in this vicious circle all the day, every day, being worried and being concerned. And this is totally connected to what Yahushua was teaching us. Is that we need to focus on today, and we need to focus on the kingdom, not to be anxious and fearful of what's coming. We need to be attentive, but not fearful. Because we are fearful, it's going to take us the joy and the shalom of what YaHuWaH is doing for us. So let's read the last part, because actually it's taking more time than last week.
well.
It says the chapter 29, verse 1. We should not get used to these long marathons, because it's
I
exhausting for everyone.
Yeah, for everybody.
So it says, these are the words of the covenant which YaHuWaH commanded Moshe to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, besides the covenant he made with them in Horeb. And this is a beautiful picture of the renewed covenant. There are 3 covenants made with Israel. The first, with the first generation in Horeb, the second generation in Moab, and the collective covenant, that is the new covenant, with Israel through the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, that is going to be completely fulfilled and sealed up in his second coming. And Moshe called all Israel and said to them, you yourselves saw all that YaHuWaH did before your eyes in the land of Mizraim, to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. Your eyes saw the great trials, the signs, and those great wonders. But YaHuWaH has not given you a heart to know, and eyes to see, and ears to hear till this day. So YaHuWaH knows the timing. It's not up to us. We need to do our part to shine the light. But YaHuWaH knows the timing for the people to be ready, have the right heart and the right eyes and the right ears to understand and to receive. And I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your garments have not worn out on you, and your sandals have not worn out on your feet. And this is also beautiful, because between the giving of the 10 words out loud and the giving of the 2 tablets of stones, there was a period of 40 days. Here we see a period of 40 years for this covenant being made happen. Could it be, I don't have the answer, could it be that it's a pattern of the timing in order to seal up the new covenant? Could be. And it's something that we need to search out. But it's interesting because it's again following a pattern. But the beautiful thing here is that YaHuWaH led the people through the wilderness. Your garments have not worn out on you, and your sandals have not worn out on your feet. He is the one providing to our needs. You ate no bread and drank no wine nor strong drink, so that you might know that I am YaHuWaH, your Elohim. And when you came to this place, Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, and Og, sovereign of Bashan, came out against us to battle, and we struck them, and took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenites and the Gadites and to half the tribe of Manasseh. So, in the same way that you mentioned, there is phases about possessing and then dwelling. Here also we see phases of training, marching, going into destiny, with facing and going through trials and difficulties. YaHuWaH testing our hearts if we are obedient or disobedient, and He is the one providing to our needs and opening at the right time our eyes just to look back and see, wow, how this could happen. Is YaHuWaH the one guiding us? And at the end of the journey, they faced the giants, the battle, and they were ready to go and fight. And this is exactly where we are, I think. We are in the time. That battle, as I said at the very beginning, is increasing. The evil spirits are doing a huge mess in this world. And the earth and the creation is crying out for the manifestation of you and me, the children of Elohim. The questions that we need to ask, are we ready for that calling? Are we ready to answer that calling? And to let YaHuWaH to rise up and lift us up in order to be manifested in this generation and bring the truth, the light, and the science, and the true science and the true wonders of the kingdom of YaHuWaH in this time. We need to be ready, and we need to analyze ourselves if we are ready to answer that calling, because YaHuWaH is just waiting for you and for us in order to do His mighty work. You know, before closing, and I think I had this passage for the first part of this today, but I forgot. Just noticed a few minutes ago, and I think it's relevant, and it's going to be a beautiful way to finish it. While I was reading my scripture a few days ago, I opened it. Maybe you can go there just to show it in the screen.
Where?
To the book of 2 Chronicles. And I read the chapter 29 and chapter 30. And somehow this is connecting everything of what we have been talking at the beginning and also now at the end. I read the chapter 29 and 30, so I'm going to invite you to read this one, but now I'm going to read just the chapter 30, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to read it completely just to have the context. I'm going to highlight the points that I think is important connected to the message we have been led to share today. So this is a beautiful picture, and just put this picture in your mind as I read. It says, and Hizkiyahu sent to all Israel and Yehuda, and he also wrote letters to Ephraim. Can you manage the mouse? Because I'm going to read from here.
Yeah,
okay?
of course.
Letters to Ephraim and Manasseh to come to the house of YaHuWaH at Jerusalem to perform the Pesach to YaHuWaH, Elohim of Israel. It's a beautiful picture of the regathering of the two houses. But the sovereign and his leaders and all the assembly in Jerusalem had taken counsel to perform the Pesach in the 2nd month, for they were unable to perform it at this time, because not enough priests had set themselves apart. and the people had not gathered at Jerusalem. So they were not ready. It was not the timing, but they had the heart in order to do it. And the matter was right in the eyes of the sovereign and in the eyes of all the assembly. And they settled the matter to send a call to all Israel. That calling is the one that YaHuWaH is calling us through Yahushua HaMashiach and the Ruach HaKodesh. From Beersheba to Dan, to come to perform the Pesach to YaHuWaH Elohim of Israel at Jerusalem, since they have not done it for a long time, as it is written. And the runners went to all Israel and Yehudah with the letters from the sovereign and his leaders, and spoke according to the commands of the sovereign. Children of Israel, turn back to YaHuWaH Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Israel, so that he returns to the remnant of you who have escaped from the hand of the sovereign of Ashur. You know, the letters are here. Yahushua sent the disciples. He sent us to the world in order to bring the good news and to send to the children of Israel. Return to YaHuWaH Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Israel. And do not be like your fathers and like your brothers, who trespassed against YaHuWaH Elohim of their fathers, so that he gave them up to ruin, as you see. Now do not stiffen your neck like your fathers. Stretch forth the hand to YaHuWaH and come to his set-apart place, which he has set apart forever, and serve YaHuWaH your Elohim. We need to serve him with the heart. We're reading about this. Serve YaHuWaH your Elohim so that his burning wrath turns away from you. But if you turn back to YaHuWaH, your brothers and your children shall be shown compassion by their captors, even to return to this land. For YaHuWaH your Elohim shows favor and compassion, and does not turn his face from you if you turn back to him. We need to do the first step. You know, when we saw the video of the sheep, the shepherd was helping the sheep, but the sheep needed to do the work to gain the strength to stand up. The shepherd was all the time over there watching over the sheep, but the sheep needed to believe, to remember what it means to walk, to remember how to return to the lambs, to remember how to return to the flock, to remember what the shepherd did at the beginning. Is two ways. YaHuWaH returning to us, but we need to return to him first. And the runners passed from city to city throughout the lands of Ephraim and Manasseh, as far as Zebulun, but they were laughing at them and mocking them. What we just read in the book of Jude about mockers and laughing on the word of YaHuWaH, laughing at you and me because we believe in what is written over here. Are we going to fall down on the trap of the mockers? No, we need to continue feeding only YaHuWaH, not feeding men, because we are not under the curse. We are under the blessing and the covenant of YaHuWaH, Elohim of Israel. Some from Asher and Manasseh and from Zebulun, however, humbled themselves and came to Jerusalem. Also the hand of Elohim was on Yehudah to give them one heart to do the command of the sovereign and the rulers at the word of YaHuWaH. And many people, a great assembly, gathered at Jerusalem to perform the festival of Matzot in the second month. And they rose up and removed the slaughter places that were in Jerusalem. And they removed all the incense slaughter places and threw them into the Wadi Kidron. They removed leaven, they removed idolatry. This is exactly what we need to do here first, and then helping others to remove idolatry and leaven from their temple. Then they slew the Pesach on the 14th day of the second month, and the priests and the Levites were ashamed and set themselves apart and brought the sending offerings to the house of YaHuWaH. And they stood in their place according to the right ruling, according to the Torah of Moshe, the man of Elohim, the priests sprinkled the blood from the hand of the Levites. For many in the assembly, listen to this because this is important. For many in the assembly had not set themselves apart. Therefore, the Levites were over the slaughter of the Pesachim for everyone who was not clean, to set them apart to YaHuWaH. For many of the people, many from Ephraim and Menashe, Yisachar and Zebulun, had not been cleansed, yet they ate the Pesach, contrary to what was written. What would you say about that? If we're quick to judge, we said, no, this is not right. They're breaking Torah. This is bringing curses. They cannot participate because they're not clean. Listen what they did. But Hizkiyahu, the king, guided by the Ruach of Elohim, Hizkiyahu prayed for them, saying, YaHuWaH, who is good, provide atonement for everyone who has prepared his heart to seek Elohim, YaHuWaH, Elohim of his fathers, though he is not cleansed according to the cleansing of the set-apart place. And YaHuWaH listened to Hizkiyahu and healed the people. What is that? Compassion. They have the heart to seek YaHuWaH, Elohim of Israel. They didn't know how to be cleansed at the beginning because they were babies. But they have the heart for YaHuWaH. The first thing is the matter of the heart, and YaHuWaH will make the way for us to be clean, to fulfill His Torah, if we continue serving Him at all times, if we continue serving Him, not with lips, with a real heart for Him, seeking Him first, putting our eyes in Mashiach, because YaHuWaH, who is good, provide atonement for everyone, Hizkiyahu said. And that atonement is Yahushua HaMashiach, our King, because through His atonement, we have cleansing. We're going to keep it until there. You can read the rest because it's a beautiful story. And it's something that is so representative for these end times. It's so representative for the division that we are going through, and the division is coming. Is the way we need to prepare this heart in order to serve Elohim in the right way. It's been a blessing to be with you almost 4 hours.
Wow.
No, 4 hours?
I don't know.
3.5 hours.
Okay.
It's been a blessing to be with you. And I really hope that everything we have been sharing with you so far, is a strengthening you. Even what we share with you in the first hour of this broadcast. It's important to seek the ones that are in needs. Sometimes they need time.
We need to pray for them.
So we need to pray for everyone. Make part of your prayers to pray for the remnant. Pray for the remnant.
If there is a name that we don't see here in the chat, we need to pray for them because we are family. It's like you haven't seen your brother for a long time. You know that your brother is there, but we need to see them again.
Pray for this generation of Israel, and pray for the pouring of the Ruach of Elohim. Pray for the pouring of the Ruach of Elohim. Seek Him with all your heart, and YaHuWaH will be faithful, and He will give you the Ruach. But you need to serve Him with all your heart, and you need to seek with all your heart. Be compassionate. Learn how to judge. Learn how to apply right ruling. But learn compassion and love, because that's the most important. That's the most excellent way that Paul was writing in his letters. So thank you once again. Any final words?
That if you feel that maybe you're alone in this walk, don't feel bad about that. The other day I was talking with somebody who was left alone recently. And she told me, you know what, now that I'm alone, I could see that I have missed during all these years past, maybe something more important that was around me, maybe the connection that I need to have with Abba. It's not because Abba wants you to be alone. It's because Abba wants you to know him in a different way. That sometimes when we are with some other people, we are entertained maybe, or we don't have our whole heart in him. So if you feel that you are going to have some peace now, maybe alone or things like that, you are not alone. Everybody is together and near in Ruach. And we are together even in the dispersion, even that when we are scattered. And if we are focused in him, if you close your eyes, you are going to feel everybody near to you. And over us, our Father, and touching us with his mighty right hand, that is our Melech, our King, that we're waiting for him. And he's keeping us next to his heart. So we are never alone.
We're never alone. Even though physically we are alone,
Yeah.
he's always with us.
Yeah.
And there is a big family out there that we are joined together, being Echad in Ruach. And that's the most important thing. I have been telling you, we don't know how long we are going to be able to gather virtually. We don't know what things are coming ahead and how soon they come. When that time comes, you need to remember our eyes always in Yahushua. Is the Ruach HaKodesh. This is the time. That's why I'm insisting that much. This is the time to seek the infilling of the Ruach HaKodesh, because is the Ruach the one that is going to remember us all things that Yahushua said. Always keeping in mind that even that we are alone, as Lillian said, physically, we are not alone because there are others, and you know now that there are others out there in different places and locations of the world that have a true heart for YaHuWaH. True heart. And we are joined together, being a Echad in the Ruach of Elohim. So, Yarash, yes, I finished my thought of the speaking in tongues for now, for today. But I'm going to speak about that. I have a study that I shared with the brothers and sisters in the States. And you know, after the dream I had this morning, I'm going to share it. So expect more about this. So once again, thank you so much to all of you. Have a wonderful Shabbat. It's a blessing. We love you. We profoundly love all of you with all our hearts. Even though that we don't know everybody face to face, we love you anyways, because we feel something here in our hearts for each one of you.
And it's the same from you to the rest, even for us.
Yes.
And that's nice.
So we send you our love, our blessings. Have a beautiful Shabbat and a blessed week. So see you next one. Shabbat Shalom. YaHuWaH be with you all.
Shabbat Shalom.
Bye.
Kivah orech, וכבוד אדוני החושך יכסה ארץ וערפל לאומים ועלייך יזרח אדוני וכבודו עלייך ייראה קומי אורי כי באורך וכבוד אדוני עלייך זרח 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 והנה החושך יכסה